Hey, thanks for clicking on this video. We have another regular school board meeting summary here for you for Hettinger Public School. I'm sitting here with Darren Siemens. Darren, thank you for coming in.
Mr. J.
We got a lot of good things to cover here, so we're going to skip over the basic stuff and start with the miscellaneous business. Darren, let's just start it off. What do we got?
Yeah, let's get into it. First, I want to say this: we're going to start doing things a little differently because we're getting some good coverage. Mrs. Fink was at the meeting, and her article has already been out in the newspaper, and that was a fabulous job. She did a great job of reporting.
Cool.
So a lot of this, I think, what we'd like to do in the future is we're gonna hit some hot spots.
Cool.
That way, we're not being so redundant, and especially if there's something where maybe she misses a meeting, then we'll kind of go back to the old way. But very impressed, and actually, I saw her this morning at City Council, and she was there too. So I mean, it's awesome to see that presence. That we've kind of been missing for quite a while. So anyway, shout out to Miss Fink on that, Mrs. Fink, for her work there. It helps us get the word out on what we're doing. And of course, when we're done here, we're going to get to talk about the final vote and how it panned out for
the basketball court,
the basketball floor. So that's the hook. You guys paying
Keep
attention?
You in. Don't fast forward. Okay.
All right, man.
So
We got miscellaneous. So yeah, we got our reports, right? So I went through my report. So we got our new calendar for 26-27. That is, I don't think it's posted yet to the. You would have posted it. It's not posted to the website
Not yet, but it's about to be.
Yes, it's extremely close. So our 26-27 calendar, academic calendar, doesn't have sporting events or that kind of stuff, will be posted to the website very soon. Not a lot of big changes. Actually, we added 2 more professional development days just because of the needs of 21st century education and everything we're trying to do. But otherwise, there really should not be any big surprises. But we'll get that pushed out so families can make plans for vacations and stuff, and hopefully try to plan to take those during days where we already have like a 3-day break or things like that. Because ultimately, the more school your kids miss, the less learning is taking place. So calendar went through. We do have some leak in our tunnels on the steam side of the building in the 1952 edition, and we have plans where we're going to be actually over the prom weekend. We're going to be shutting down the heating system, hopefully, as long as temperatures are still good with Mother Nature. They'll allow some drying to take place so we can try to pinpoint where the leak is when we fire that system back up on Monday. And again, it's just, hey, those pipes are from 1952, so I don't think the district should be ashamed that they've lasted as long as they have. So
75 years. That's you're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
so.
Amen. Right. Just kind of talking about staffing. We're advertising for an elementary teacher position right now, full time, and of course we're advertising for an elementary principal position. We do have some interviews taking place here in the next couple of days for that position. But like with everything, there are a lot of teaching open positions throughout the state of North Dakota, actually throughout the country. So I'll be honest, I'm a little scared. I guess I may as well admit it, because there's a lot of competition out there. Now is the time to be an educator, I guess. It's like there's
demand
a lot
is
of
high.
places. It's very high.
Yeah.
Demand is very high. So hopefully we get some good candidates there. Like I say, we already have some candidates for the elementary principal position. We'll be doing those interviews over the next couple of days and kind of see how that shakes out. I just really, really hope we get some applicants for that elementary teaching position.
Awesome. Okay. And then if they're interested in that position, obviously call the school. We also have a jobs page on our school website.
Yeah, maybe this is where you can bop, boop, boop, and put it in the...
We can throw that over top. So as you're looking right now on our school website, there's a jobs or employment page, and you can see all the details about these job listings accordingly.
You bet. So we have some bids out, or a call for bids. We'll be receiving those on the 18th. It's been nice. I've seen a couple of different contractors on campus with their surveying equipment, so I'm looking forward to see some bids, and hopefully they're competitive to help save us some money. Of course, the gym floor, we'll be talking about that a little later, and then just really talked about the importance of having a board retreat. All the board members they do a great job. They're very active. They take the time, but there's just so many things. There's so many things that need to be discussed. Every meeting there's policies, and it's like we need a board retreat where we can just really take 3/4 of a day and spend time talking about that and talking about things we want to change. How do we want to change with how we're communicating with the community? We got some great ideas for some projects to be inviting people in on campus to experience us, and then sitting down with you and kind of answering some questions about what did they learn, a day at school kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
And just ways to kind of communicate what we're doing up here. There's a lot of great stuff. I mean, I just got back right now from driving the bus. Mr. Buckmeyer's got FFA kids and some of his shop kids and egg kids that are out here today local at our NDSU extension. And they've been out there all day, so I was kind of helped shuttling them from the old Joe Clement side of the station back to the home base. And there's just so many good things. I was in his shop earlier today, and they're making a shed.
Oh, really?
The theater to help raffle it off for the theater.
Oh,
the
awesome.
stuff you're doing in here. It's just you don't know what you don't know. And we need to do a better job of sharing that with our community and all the great things our kids are doing. So,
oh yeah, no, they're doing so much. He's done so many projects just this year.
Yeah.
Sometimes if you ask him a question like, "Hey, would you consider doing this?" You don't want to throw another thing on him. But gosh, that guy's been so useful around here.
Yes, and so many other things. And we'll touch on some of this with Mr. McCullough's report. But it's Science O, and we got owls coming up, and I mean, there's so many things going on. We got kids taking trips to Bismarck to check out the museum up there and the Heritage Center and the science and learning labs, and we're rocking and rolling, man. We got these kids going all over the place. It's not just sports, it's academics, and I feel that our teachers do a phenomenal job with that. So
awesome. So it sounds like that kind of closes up the superintendent secondary principal report, correct?
Yep.
Moving on to the elementary principal report.
Just taking a look at Mr. Erickson's report here. We finished up the student engagement surveys. Of course, that was three through high school. So that'll be fun to get those. We typically don't get those results back until the end of May, it's kind of like you don't get to necessarily talk with them, but with like the seniors will be gone, of course, by then and things like that. But it does give us good information. We have two qualifiers going to the state spelling bee. So I'm pretty pumped about that. And that'll be coming up on Wednesday, February 18th. So we look forward to see how well those two do at the state competition. We have in his report, because he does work with West River Health Services on a lot of stuff. This month, I should say, is colorectal awareness.
Yep.
Colorectal cancer awareness month.
Yep.
So this Friday, we have West River Health Services bringing in their Rollin' Colon.
Yep. They're having all sorts of fun with that.
It's a walkable tour.
Yes.
And they've got a lot of their doctors are coming in and helping with that tour. So the whole morning, of course, it's a Flex Friday. The whole morning is Hettinger Public School participating in that. And then the afternoon is open to the community. So if you want to come check that out, that'll be open in the big gym, the Robin Shrinky Auditorium on the John Butterfield Court.
Yep.
And that'll be open to the public roughly at that 12:30, 12:45 time frame. Probably better to come at 12:45 so we can get the buses rolling, and because the parking will be kind of tough with the buses.
Make it a little bit easier for the people coming in.
Yep. FFA week that took place. Mr. Buckmeyer, they did stuff all week. There were dress-up days, and of course, it always ends with the egg in the classroom, where the elementary kids are down there working with FFA students in the classroom. This year they had to FFA, that group, they had to kind of fly by the seat of their pants because we had so many kids that were sick. That had exhibits, had things they were going to do, but they're home with the influenza or they're home with the flu. So they did a good job of working through that and making sure that the kids still had an enjoyable time. That's kind of the highlights of Mr. Erickson's.
Awesome. Moving forward, athletic director report and business manager updates.
You bet. I'm going to kind of stay away from the business manager stuff just because it's the normal finances of everything. I step on your court.
The usual updates.
Yeah, just the usual stuff.
Yep.
The AD, it was the end. Our winter sports season is over. Yep. Of course, the wrestlers went up, and as a team in the duels, they took 6th. And then they competed on the individual side. We had a state champion, some runner-ups. Kids did a great job. And the boys and the girls basketball programs, they fell a little short of their goals. But talk about a season of perseverance and working through the grit. Those kids kept fighting all year long, and those coaches kept them motivated. So, The girls wrestling program, of course, that season came to an end as well. We did have a state qualifier with our wrestling program. So again, things are looking good for there. And then, of course, we're rolling into the spring season. I mean, track and field tracks already opened up for practice on the 7-12 level. Boys golf is gonna be starting very soon. Yep. I think baseball starts next week. So spring sports are going. Other things is, and you've seen this hopefully in the Adams County Record too, we have a new fan site.
He's got quite a bit there.
And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you can get on there for Nighthawk merch. And you have until the 23rd for 20% off. Other than that, we got some music. We got some Region 10 instrument stuff coming up. I believe that's around the 17th. So we got kids competing in small group and individual up there. And, of course, we got Science O going back to state again.
As usual.
I mean, Hettinger's had a Science O program that has been phenomenal. That goes clear back to the late 80s, early 90s. So Miss Block and the kids are continuing that winning record there. So, and that was kind of the end of the AD report. So.
Okay. So then moving on, we got a few committee reports. Why don't we kind of go through the ones that
So just kind of taking a look here. So a lot of times we put these on whether we've met or not, just to make sure it's always on the agenda. So really some of the big ones that have been taking place is the co-op committees have been meeting. We're kind of working through that agreement, just adding lingo to where we had procedures that both schools were following, but they were never written down. And we want them written down because there's no guarantee everyone at that table is going to always be at the table. Board representation changes, staffing changes. So to get some of those things down that we like and we know work well, we want to get that on paper. We're still talking about some football game percentages and maybe looking at the funding model for the co-op too. So we had a meeting on that actually last night. It was a great meeting. We were in the AV room, great conversations. Again, it's one of those things to where this group has really grown together to just be able to have those honest conversations and just know that, hey, man, we're just trying to find a good compromise that works for both communities and whatnot. So co-op policy, that policy committee is meeting every time. There's always policies they're bringing to the board.
They have been very busy lately.
Well, and it's just one of those things to where realistically every month there should be one or two policies that are coming before the board because there are so many policies that are required by the state of North Dakota. And 2 times as many recommended and supplemental that cover all the different situations that can arise. So the building committee, of course, we've been working on the court. We've been looking at the project in the science room. We've had architects on campus. We've had asbestos. Badlands out of Bismarck has been here to check our asbestos and making sure that we're moving forward appropriately with the plans for the renovations in the science lab and then the entrance to the school. And then, of course, like I say, the cement bids are out there. Just trying to get some of this stuff done while we have the ability to do it. I mean, honestly, we're in a situation where we've been able to get some money in that building, in our building fund that traditionally this district has not had, and we have until June of 27 to use it, or else we're going to lose it. So we're trying to do these once in a lifetime type of things. So
those quality of life things, trying to bring things up and make things look good.
Yep. And it's hard because the building, our campus is very large, and every room could use some sprucing up, and more than just paint, but you got to have a science room that you can actually teach 21st century science in. Yep. And we got to make sure it's safe. We don't want to be using systems that have leaks of propane and things like that. So it does become a priority just because of how important science is to the educational world. So not that the other programs aren't as important. It's just, science is a biggie. And that room had a lot of issues. The other old chem room in the 56 edition, it's pretty much been vacated as far as Bunsen, the propane.
Yeah, all of those.
The water. There were just too many leaks, too much lead with some of the plumbing parts of it. And it's like we need one lab that at least works.
Yeah, absolutely.
Long story short. So Curriculum committee, again, just looking at some changes. There's some CKLA and Amplify things on the elementary side of the building that we've bought into with the Science of Reading initiative with the state level. And we just have to make sure we're allocating the appropriate amount of time to those programs. Otherwise, it's like buying a Corvette and only driving at 20 mile an hour. We bought this thing. We need to follow the regulations, they say. Otherwise, we never should have purchased it in the first place.
Absolutely. And you know, we've been doing a little bit of test runs with some of the CKLA and the Amplify and stuff like that, getting things ready. So next year we can have at it.
Yep. And as we roll that out, we're trying to align schedules so that once we're okay with CKLA, which realistically is going to take at least a year. I mean, let's just be honest. It's a whole new curriculum. But we're trying to align some times to where when we are comfortable as a district with that, like I said, I'm talking at least a year, we're able to take on some other initiatives and build on that. And again, that's a talk for maybe this time next year at the soonest, on what those initiatives are. But we're doing the research in those right now. We have teams visiting other schools, looking at things that they're doing that are instrumental and very like new way approaches for education, and trying to see what that would look like if we were to do that here in Hettinger. So,
okay, awesome. And moving on to the next item on the list here.
Well, we got transportation and the negotiations. Negotiations, of course, haven't met. It's not a negotiation year. The transportation committee, they've met. Here's the reality, right? I mean, anyone that's been in the car market lately or anything like that, the prices are astronomical, what they ask for metal moving down the road, and buses are no different. You know, we called for bids for buses. A new activity bus is $250,000. And then you drive it off the lot and you lose about $80,000 in value. A new 14 passenger bus, $125,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like, no thanks.
Yeah.
The board, the district, the administration, we need to put that money into our once in a lifetime purchases. So we're really on the market looking for good used buses, that maybe, hey, the bus is good, but we would rip out the seating and revamp the seating. You know, I mean, there's buses. You get a bus out there that's 3 years old, 4 years old, and it's got 50,000 miles on it. They're asking $10,000 for these things. $15,000. Gotcha. Well, you know what? We can gut it and put new seating in there and make it nice, and we've got a nice bus. So again, I just think they're trying to be smart with the money, and I appreciate that very much, because I'd rather spend that money on academics, to be honest with you. So, so that's kind of the end of the reports as far as the committees.
And then as far as the next few items, which we're kind of wrapping up here, unfinished business, we got calendar, bus bid, and credit requirements for graduation.
Yeah. So that was the calendar. That was just taking the official action to approve the calendar that we just talked about a little bit ago. Again, the bus bids, that's when they decided to pretty much walk away from the bus bids and say thanks, but no thanks. Credit requirements for graduation. We're going to 24. Of course, next year seniors will be grandfathered into the 23 credits we have now. You know, the state pushed some initiatives to where they want to see health and FIED on a more engaged level throughout the campus. I mean, bringing back the presidential fitness testing, and then pushing some more health things. And actually, we were already having those conversations based on the things that we're seeing from a mental, social health perspective, that aren't being addressed as much as they probably should be. And not all of those topics. I mean, obviously, you know, we're not talking about therapy. We're not talking about counseling. We're talking about having health discussions with health teachers. That fits within their curriculum. And where we're talking about, you know, peer interactions. How do you handle loss? How do you handle, you know, whether it's loss of, let's say your boyfriend breaks up with you, or your girlfriend breaks up with you, or maybe it's you didn't do as well on the test that you really wanted to do well on, right? Just
those more common struggles.
Well, the perseverance things that we're seeing. Those conversations aren't necessarily taking place as much as they used to. So again, we're seeing that need. We're trying to address that need. The other thing is we're making some changes. This work-based learning. What we're finding is how the state wants us to do it doesn't match with how we're able to do it. In rural North Dakota, where we have businesses. We've lost a lot of businesses, and we have businesses that are truly hanging on by the skin of their teeth, going in there and saying, "Hey, we want you to work with this kid, and by the way, here's a whole booklet of paperwork you have to do. Thanks, see you later."
Yeah.
They're like, "No, thanks. So again, we want to get these kids experiences, but yet the state wants us to have them be work-based learning experiences. So we got to go back to the old drawing board and figure out how do we do that doesn't make our local business owners be overly stressed and say, sorry, I can't do that.
Yep.
But yet still meets the criteria we need to meet and allows kids to be out there. So long story short, we've cut back on those opportunities. Kids as seniors are still, if they're playing their cards right and they're doing well, we'll be able to have an open hour. But having multiple open hours as a senior, we tried it didn't work very well. So we're trying to retool the shed here a little bit.
Yep, we'll just constantly keep reworking on things.
Yep,
absolutely. Moving on to the final. I see a whole slew of letters here. Policy. You want to summarize a few of those for us really quick?
I'm gonna be honest. A lot of them, these ones are they're required. I mean, they're required things. There's a 504 policy that's required that we had to put in. Acceptable use. That's you.
Yep.
So maybe you want to give a spiel.
So there was some wording and some changes as far as what we did to the acceptable use policy. So whenever a student uses computers or anything like that, that's at our school, it's using the school's equipment, right? Well, you have to sign a computer user agreement at the beginning of each year. We always do those at the beginning of each year. And in those agreements are this acceptable use policy saying like, hey, you're going to use our equipment with respect, that you're not going to abuse any opportunities that you have here. And some of the wording that was used in the past isn't necessarily relevant or broad enough to prepare us for what's coming in the future years. As we've seen with technology just in the last 20 years, it's exploded. And to be able to plan and see where that's going to go, we had to change some verbiage. So that's what some of those changes were, just trying to keep up with the times.
Yep. You used to be able to be specific because there was only one or two things they could do.
Exactly.
And now it's there's like 1,000 things. So
exactly. And then also too, you got to look ahead and go, okay, what is someone going to invent in the next 5 years?
Yep.
So we're kind of adjusting things to make sure that we can protect the students and the district at the same time.
You bet. So that one, open enrollment, again, those were just some state required. We had to do tuition agreement was state required. And then the last thing was just an update from board member Clausen on the NDSBA Winter Summit that she and myself and Mr. Ford all went to. And again, that update really just was focusing on some of the initiatives that would need to be discussed and planned at the board retreat. And again, it's getting the board members in this situation where they can explain whether it's via this. Or maybe, hey, I'm on the transportation committee. I'm going to be downtown having coffee from this hour to this hour. So if you want to come talk transportation, come on down. Just those types of things, because they do spend time on that, and nobody's seeing that part. No one's seeing all the work that they're putting in, and so that part is one of the updates that came out of that winter summit. And again, some of the marketing as far as schools are going with public schools. Just again, it comes back to we need to tell our story, and if we don't, we're allowing people that don't know what the story is to tell it for us, and I'm not okay with that anymore. This district has let that happen for decades, and we're going to tell our story. We're going to tell the good things that we're doing. We're going to tell the struggles that we have. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. The reality of it is there's good bads and there's uglies. I mean, it's like any other employer that has 50. We're the second largest employer in Adams County, and that's extremely important. And it's even more important that we're employed to work with the youth of our community. And we need to be able to share those stories in a way that helps build community rather than tears community apart.
Absolutely. So kind of on that note, kind of building community, kind of, we teased a little bit of the court design. Let's kind of pull that back a little bit. Court design. So our winner.
So here we are. I mean, rather than get into the winner, first I want to, what did we have? I mean, you and I have been talking on the voting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're talking. So we had voting open last Thursday of parent-teacher conferences, Friday and Saturday. So 3 days. And I get it. Not maybe it's like, hey, why couldn't it have been longer? But again, we're up against the deadlines.
Yep. So that way we can meet the timeline of when they're
3
painting.
days. There were two options to choose from. Total votes were
It was 140 votes.
140 votes. That's not bad. That's not bad. You know. Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yep.
So
Our winner.
is.
So I can give you some numbers. So
Go for it, bud.
Our one was 90 votes, and the other one was about 50 votes.
Yeah.
But our winner is the blue one.
The blue one. There it is, baby.
So the blue one won. That one was the majority vote by a pretty hefty margin, almost double. So I think a big congratulations to all the people who were involved.
Yeah.
And a big thanks to all the people who put in the extra time and just all the heads that got put together to figure this out.
Big time. Very fast. Very fast. The committee did a great job. Again, we found out that floor has a lot of life in it, which is great news to the district. It was a fun way to engage people and get the community involved. And huge thank you to you and the graphic work that you were able to do to help the committee actually see what this representation would look like. We are working with the Butterfield family on the John Butterfield Court logo. So we're working on that, and that'll just be something that the school and the Butterfield family decide. But we'll be rocking and rolling. I mean, they're talking about starting this April 6th, April 7th.
Absolutely.
And it'll take about 14 days, and then she'll be open. And we're actually planning, Mr. Fordall is planning some kind of ribbon cutting, welcome to the new floor activity.
Yeah, with some extra fun involved.
Yeah, to kind of get the community involved there and have some fun in there. So it's been fun. I know I've heard some comments. Well, hey, what about the football field and what about the other complexes? Hey, we're getting there, man. We're trying. The board for the last 6 or 7 years has been trying to figure out what to do with the football field complex. I honestly think you could spend $1 million down there and drive by and hardly even tell the difference. Seriously, I mean the water system is totally it's limping along. Yeah, there's so much. It's limping along. We've had 2 different vendors in give us bids for the lights. We're talking $250,000 for lights. The scores board is 20 plus years old. Everybody knows the bathrooms are shot. They don't work. Parking is terrible. The bleachers are terrible. There's a lot of work to do down there. And that's going to be a big push.
Totally.
So to be able to do something in the gym that gets used year round, I mean, it gets used the entire school year.
Yep.
It's you think about that investment and how much it gets used. It's really pennies compared to what that football field complex is going to absorb.
Absolutely.
And take, and then you look at how much that thing gets used. And it's kind of that's a hard pill to swallow. So
absolutely, in comparison to funds,
it is. So in that discussion, we're trying to make some partnerships with the city, and actually some state level things to try to make that a more usable campus area down by the airport road, that could be used more year round.
Sure.
Kind of maybe some. I don't know, maybe some groom trails for cross country, something. I mean, there's got to get used down there there's got to be more than what it's getting used.
Absolutely.
And so if you got ideas, you got creative ideas, I'd love to hear them. Come on in, stop up by the building or by the school. But so that's kind of the next thing, and we're going to keep plugging away. But thanks to everybody who voted, and we're looking at that. One more thing too, we have coming up, March 18th, next Wednesday. At 1:30, we are on campus here in the AV room. We're having a pruning workshop, and we have the state forester coming down. Aspen Lenning has helped put this on. There should be some posters around town. We're going to have some of our science and ag classes attend that as well. You, the public, are invited to come. Miss Lenning actually has some prizes she's going to give for attendees. We're going to learn how to prune trees that actually prunes them and doesn't kill them. And then they're going to go out down to the park and practice some of those techniques. So,
cool.
So that'll be a good thing. We got some Arbor Day plans coming up for the end of the year. Where we're working some partnerships with Miss Lennon in her position with NDSU, And so there'll be some more fun stuff like that coming down the pipe too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Darren, very much for coming in, and thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next one on March 18th, or after March 18th, when the next school board meeting is, and have a great day.